So welcome back, everybody. This time we're going to do something a little bit different. We got really an industry icon with us in Joel Nolasco. He's going to be joining us in a second and just learning a little bit about his journey and the things and lessons and things that he's learned along the way about being involved in pest management, from New York State Pest, board of directors, all the way up to president of New York, and then his journey into national pest management and what that means for him. And really some key tips if anybody out there is looking to get more involved to help elevate themselves.
Yeah, Joel's awesome. Great conversation. I can't wait to have everybody here. He has such an amazing story that he went through, and just great vision for the future for everybody. So let's head in and join our conversation.
The little brain capacity I have, I use it to like buy clothes as opposed to figure out technology.
Joel, you're killing me, because you ruined my one question I was going to have was, do you own any clothes that aren't a suit? That was going to be my first question.
And how did I ruin it? Oh, because I'm not wearing a suit today.
You're not wearing a suit. What happened? Oh,
so this depends on what I'm doing.
He wears polos to the gym with slacks.
This is Jim. Good job.
It's no joke. I played golf with him in the New York State Pest Management tournament one year. He shows up in Cole Haan loafers. I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing?
Oh my God, that's amazing.
That's so true.
If you want to win a golf tournament, do not bring Joel.
Well, not because of the attire, because my lack of skills. That's the reason why you don't bring me.
But if you want a really, really great team photo where somebody looks phenomenal, bring them.
Between me and Joey Sheehan, because Joey Sheehan has this thing that whenever he played golf, he used to wear the most colorful pants. It was like Caddyshack. Like, he had a thing where he needed to look like the Caddyshack character. The wildest prints. And then all his golf shoes are Jordans.
Okay.
Like the sneakers. So he has all the Jordan golf shoes, and he can actually swing a club. So you see this guy in like Caddyshack pants with Jordan's golf shoes, whacking the ball, and you're like, wait, what's going on here? So I don't know if Bill remembers it.
Joe goes and plays golf. He reminds me so much of John Daly.
There you go. That's exactly
it. Cigarette hanging out of his mouth. There's always a drink. He don't give a shit what he does, and he's just there to have a great time.
In the fun of the conversation over here. What I want to do is I want to go up to Bill, I got to go to your new office. And I mean, maybe I don't have to, because I see it. I see the post, and I'm like, that wall looks pretty cool, right?
We just put in the Saratoga office.
Yeah, that's the one I saw. That's the wall. So that one looks cool. But only if you take me out on like the Saratoga water, the lake and all that, the boat, then I'll go up there, because I have a different.
Why don't we do this? You come up, visit the Albany office. I'll take you up. We'll see Saratoga. Maybe we'll hit the racetrack for a couple hours. We'll do a nice dinner. And the next day we get up. You can stay at the house. We'll get up. We'll go out. And we'll go
the racetrack? What racetrack?
Saratoga racetrack with all the horses.
Oh, with the horses. Okay. I thought it was a car racetrack. I got excited. I thought it was a car racetrack. I got excited. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, we'll go see the horses for a couple hours. We'll have a nice dinner, and we'll go out the next day to see Andy.
Oh, we're doing the whole tour?
Do the whole loop.
All right. I guess are you publishing this thing, Andy? Now I guess I'm committed, so now I have to do it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
The only way I get to see this dude is if I get him to admit that shit live on a YouTube channel.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's a binding contract now.
He's never said it wasn't going to be in 2030 before I see him again.
No, stop it. I used to see you more often, Bill, but then you got too busy. You decided that you didn't want to play any games. You were going to build a good business, and you did that. So that's awesome. So hopefully now you have a little bit more time, because you did it. Yeah. So come out and hang out.
All right. Well, this isn't about Bill. This is all about Joel today.
There you go.
The legend.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you guys for having me. I'll put it that way. Yeah. All right. Now let's get started. Thank you for having me. So obviously I've had a relationship with Bill for some time. We go back and forth. There's obviously a banter there. I don't know Andy too much.
Nope.
So I'm
That's okay.
Looking forward to getting to know you. We could start off by you getting to know me. So shoot away.
Yeah, let's do that. Bill, since you know where all the bodies are buried, you want to start out asking some difficult questions?
No, he doesn't. He never disclosed that.
No, I can't quite do that. But, I think it's fascinating watching really the way you've grown in this industry. And I think you're probably one of the best I've ever seen at branding yourself, both starting through New York State and up through national. And I just really would love to hear more about that story and really learn about some of the really intangible benefits that you got from being able to work alongside of some really amazing people in this industry and what it's done for you, your mindset, your career.
Let me fix lighting over here. I'm ugly, so without light, it looks even worse. So
I don't know. It's been said that you might be the best looking person in pest control. So I don't know about all that.
Well, what they don't say that, Bill. You got it wrong, and that's gonna lead me into this whole question you asked me. I'm not the best looking person in pest control, and because I know that, I compensate by dressing well. So I'm the best dressed person in pest control, and that comes in relations to that. When you're the ugly duckling, you got to figure out you got to put makeup, lipstick on this pig over here. So I do it by wearing nice clothes. And then when I say nice clothes, it isn't expensive clothes. It's about fit. So yes, I get my stuff tailored. Yes, I do. That's what makes the difference. And that's it. And then as far as building a brand, what Bill said, I think that's exactly it. Eventually it became that. So one of the things and one of the reasons why I did that, and I'll share with you guys, is as I got introduced to this business, I started off at Terminix as an employee in Terminix. And then eventually when time came to go off my own, me and one of my childhood best friends, we both worked at Terminix. We went ahead and started off NuBorn, and we worked out on our own. But one of the things and then after doing that, I knew immediately, well, this is going to be my career. I have to get involved. I don't want to just be on the passenger seat of where this industry is headed or where my life is possibly going to end up. And I want to have a say in it, right? I want to steer the truck for a while. And that's where my desire to get involved and at least learn more about the industry that I decided to make my business, the industry that I decided to feed my family with, to, grow and establish myself in. I got in there and I was like, well, I was 20 years old while I was doing it. And I went from making, I'm gonna sound dated, but making like $12 an hour, right? Because that was what the going rate was at the time, to getting paid production under the Terminix model. So in like 4 months, I went from like $12 an hour to making $5,000 a month at like 18 or whatever. That was 20. So it was like, wait, hold on, this is great, right? I'm gonna keep going at this thing. And that's where it started. And I kept wanting to go up. And then at the time, the goal was, and Bill may know him just because Bill was in the scene in this area. There was a manager called Bob Young in Terminix. He was out of Long Island, actually. But then he got involved with like New York State later on. He was the guy that I saw, and I was like, I want his job. I want to be what he does. And my goal initially was to move up the ranks in Terminix. I was like, oh, good company. It's publicly traded, it's big. If I play my cards, if I could work my way up, I could become a divisional manager and keep it going and see how far it takes me. That was the plan. I was a little bit too ambitious for what they thought I could do, and they started holding me back. I started pissing people off on the way up. I went from making $12 an hour to being a production tech. As a production tech, making, like I said, $5,000. Then it was like, wait, I could sell and make commission on it too? Great, right? So now I'm over here selling. Now I'm boosting up my pay, right, by making commission on it. But then because I knew how to service it, I'm selling it and servicing it. So I'm getting paid commission on the sale, production on the service. And I was like, this is great. I'm double dipping. I'm doing great. I hear one of the managers pushing on one of the inside sales rep, like, hey, take the manager's test, right? So I said, wait, there's a manager's test? I didn't even know I had to take a test to go up. My whole purpose here is to try to move up. Sign me up. I'll take the test. And he said, no. And I said, wait, why? That was exactly my reaction. Why not? He was like, because if you take it, you'll pass it. And if you pass it, they take you away. I was like, oh, well, thank you for the compliment. And no thank you for trying to hold me back. Right? But that's kind of what that was. And then eventually I was like, all right, I was doing sales. In the process of doing sales, what started happening there is now I'm getting sales. They had some techs, some other folks that were screwing up my sales. People are canceling. If they cancel, I get charged back on the commission that I didn't even get paid yet on, right? So obviously I got upset about it. There were a few folks there that in like middle management that at the time I'm like, you're not doing it right. Yeah, I was young, but I could do it better, right? Pissed some folks off. The managers that were there kind of were in cahoots. They started boxing me out and pushing me out. I was like, all right, screw you guys. And that was it. And then I left from there. From there, I ended up in like a small New York City based company, right? Which was totally different. I mean, it's still pest control, but totally different from the world that I knew. The only thing I knew was the residential market. Terminix residential in Westchester County, which is a pretty affluent county, right? So to go from there to working for a New York City company that predominantly did low-income housing in buildings, that and what I ended up doing for them, I didn't even do that much for them. By that point, I had a license. Most of their staff were not licensed. So because I was licensed and because they saw me as, oh, this guy has experience at Terminix, a big old company, what I was doing for them was I was actually taking care of all their nursing homes, and they did a lot of them, all right? And the nursing home contracts for them were weekly, so it became great for me because I had a consistent schedule. Like I knew Tuesday I was going to go to these 3 nursing homes, and then Thursday these 3 nursing homes. And then one day, Wednesday, I had like this big complex in the city that had like, I don't know, 1,000 units or something like that, and divided into like 8 buildings. So I was there 8 hours. So it was easy. Like I got the swing of it. It was easy, and well, easy is subjective, but for me it was easy. So I was doing great there. But all right, I got bored eventually. I still wanted more. Then that's when me and Anthony, at that point, Anthony my business partner was also at Terminix. When I got there was a few of us that were in Terminix. Anthony had also already left Terminix because he got fed up. He actually left before me because they played him in terms, right? They promised him something and did not deliver it. So he's like, wait, so I'm doing this extra work for you. I'm putting in the extras because you said that by this point I would get it. And then he would ask, and they're like, oh yeah, another week, and another week became a few months. So he's like, all right, you guys are just stringing me along. So he went off as well. And he went off, then he did like Orkin, and he went to Ecolab. So he's still within the big players. I went off to that small company. And then at this point where I'm like, hey, now that I'm not working for Terminix, right? Let's do this, right? I don't want to take any customers from them. I have my route. So one of the things for me, it was like, I'm going to have integrity. I signed the non-compete. I'm not going to take customers from you. I'm not going to poach my old clients. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to grow with a clean conscience, right? So I can honestly say that whatever I've been able to achieve, whatever me and Anthony have been able to achieve, has not been on the backs of anybody else, right? It's been, we grinded, we did it. And that was it. And then eventually we decided that we were going to do it, and we took off from there. And then once we got here and I realized that, all right, this is my career, now I needed to get involved. How do I get involved? How do I make sure that I'm on that, driver's seat, like I mentioned at the beginning? And it was about getting involved. At this time, I was in the process, we've grown a little bit, and I was in the process of buying another company. And I didn't know how to do this, right? How do I do this? How do I buy somebody? So I hired a consultant, right? But it was weird. Now, these consultants, you can find them anywhere. You drop and you just throw a dart into the wall, and you find a consultant that's trying to sell a pest control company, right? Back then, it wasn't like that. So I hired a consultant. The consultant was Norman Cooper. So I don't know if you guys know New York pest control history or whatever, but Norman Cooper was a big person within New York, but even within NPMA as well. I think he was the president of NPMA in '92. I don't even want to think how old I was. Bill, I don't want to know how old you were either, Bill. I think you're younger than me, so.
I sure hope so.
You look it, so yeah, as long as you look it, that's fine. But anyway, so
I don't have to rely on a tailored suit.
Huh?
I don't have to rely on the tailored suit.
See the insults.
Oh,
That
man.
attitude. One, it was because of my skin color, because I was minority, and now it's because of my ugliness. Jesus Christ. So I met Norman. In meeting Norman, he took a liking to me, right? And he was like, he kind of wanted to take me under his wing. He was like, hey, you got to get involved. You have to do this. And I was like, all right, perfect. How do I go about doing this? By this point, I was also involved. I was already involved in New York pest management, right? Like I had started going to shows, meetings and all that. I raised my hand to be a part of the board and all that. When Norman comes in, he said, you have to get involved. And I was like, okay, great. I got involved with New York. Let me move up the ranks in New York, right? Because there's no way I'm going to be able to run my business, play a role in New York pest management, and also play a role in the national pest management. So let me finish. I have to finish one. And all along, I've always had another business too on the side, a different business on the side as well. So it was like, that's way too many things on one plate. So let me finish one. And that's exactly what it was. So I got through New York, right? Towards the end, after when I was the president, by this point, when I was the president of New York, so all right, I'm the president of New York. Now I can start getting involved with national to kind of set up the next play. And that's how I started getting involved at the national level. But it came with help. And then Norman Cooper went around and spoke to people and told them, hey, listen to this kid, right? This kid has something to bring to the table. I think he's going to be great. And they kind of opened some doors for me in me getting involved. And that's exactly how that happened.
Was your involvement with the state association, was it when you started your own company, or were you involved while you were at Terminex and that other?
No, not at all. Not at all involved. That was after, and even after I started my company, it was a few years after I was in my own company. I didn't know about the associations. I didn't know about any of them when I started the company. I didn't know about any of them when I was in Terminex either. Yeah. Right? It was never brought up. And I think part of that, I don't want to talk bad about any company, especially none of the bigger ones, but I think that's a known thing, because even us smaller companies, right, we get afraid sometimes, and we've had these conversations before of like sending folks because you're afraid that they're going to meet somebody and get poached or something like that, right? So I think there was something to that as far as why they wouldn't just open it up to everybody, which I respect.
So when you were your own company, what got you over that hump to say, hey, I'm gonna join the association, I'm gonna start getting involved? Like what was that decision like?
Well, once I decided that this was going to be the industry that I was going to be in, the career that I chose, and I was going to feed my family, well, I didn't want to be in the passenger seat. It's just, if you're starting a company, right, for yourself at whatever, 21 years old, I wasn't 21, I was 20 something years old, right? But still young, right? Because you're hungry and you want to go out there and get it, then it's the same concept, right? I want to do it. I don't want to just work for somebody.
How long have you been in business, Joel?
Technically, we filed paperwork. Anthony gets mad at me, my business partner, about it. We filed paperwork at the end of 07, right? I think it was like October of 07. We filed the paperwork to actually get it, right? At that time, I was still working then, but I was still working for that other New York City based company. That's when I had just started working for that New York City based company in like July of 07. Then we filed paperwork in October, right? Because that's when I left. I left Terminex in around June, May, right? So I couldn't really, at that point, we filed the paperwork, but I had just started work. I've only been working for somebody for a few months. So it was hard for me to like do that. So Anthony was the one that was working it, and Anthony was the one doing this thing while I was still working for the other company. Then in 2010, and this is where we differ in when you ask, when did you start, right? In 2010, that's when I came on full time. So in my eyes, it started this 2010 because that's when I started, right? But in reality, the paperwork was filed at the end of 2007. So
yeah. So we got started in 2010 as well.
Yeah, I know that.
So same year, yeah.
But very different trajectory. You doing the Elon Musk trajectory.
That's right.
Yeah. On that. Yeah, I think we're capable of more. So we're gonna keep chasing.
There you go, Elon. Keep going to space, Elon. There you go. You're gonna give the whole world internet. I know. I got you.
Yeah, I mean, I got big plans in life, you know that, but it's not quite space. So we're gonna skip that portion of it.
It's gonna be a boat.
Once
I
we
got
bugs
you.
on Mars, then I guess if there's a way, I'll try to find it. It's probably a pretty untapped market up there. You know, so I guess let's just focus on New York, right? So like, I mean, for me, I know it's opened a lot of doors to meeting some really, really good people who've played a really big role in my trajectory in this industry of just, you know, mentors and just people to lean on for advice. I mean, you're getting this at a much different level now, you know, between having all the contacts and friends and relationships you built over the years in New York State, now on a national level. You know, what has that really meant for your business and just your development as a person?
I mean, so much. I mean, it's meant everything. I mean, I think once you get into this industry, and we've all heard it, this industry is so unique to any other industry. As I mentioned before, I was involved in a different business. I've always had another business as well, totally different industry, and it does not feel anywhere near like what this industry feels like. This industry, even though we're competitors, this feels more like family than anything else. Like I know if I need, I can go to Bill's house and sleep in Bill's house if needed. I may sleep in the barn, but I can still sleep there. You know what I mean? Other industries, I don't even want you in my neighborhood, right? How do you know what neighborhood I live in, type of thing? So this industry is very unique when it comes to that, and it's enjoyable to be in an industry like that, and it's also very helpful when you know you could pick up the phone and make a phone call. And there were times where I had Bill on speed dial. Like I would ask Bill, "Hey, Bill, how did you do this?" And the beauty of it was Bill was an open book. Bill was like, "Here you go. You know what, Joel? I'll mail you the document that took him whatever hours to create. I'll mail it to you." I was like, "I could use it?" He was like, "Yeah." So granted, I changed the name, right? I didn't want to promote his company.
You know, that's how long, you know, we've been in this business too long is when we were mailing things.
yeah, exactly. That's true. But that's exactly it. But that's something that's unique and you only find in this industry.
Yeah.
So to go back to the question, as far as like at the national level, if it was this impactful with Bill, right? Where he's only a few hours away, being able to do that at the national level is phenomenal. What that's been done for me is the following, right? Instead of me calling my competitor that's in the same town or services the same area in New York that I would service, that's probably going to be reluctant to share some of his or her secrets because I'm his direct competitor. I can call somebody from Tennessee, or I can call somebody from Chicago, which kind of emulates a little bit of New York City, right? And they're willing to help out. They're willing to share some ideas. So that's been super helpful in being able to do that. Then as we initially started and our focus was in New York City, even though my start came in the residential market in Westchester, when we got into the business, I didn't have money to compete with the likes of a Terminix, with the likes of who else was around at the time? Orkins, all the big guys, Craig Thomas, right? JP McHale. Sorry, Bill. Like, but those are the guys, those are the guys that were there. Like, I didn't have a means to compete with them, right? To try to get the people from Westchester to call, right? Or from Rockland to call us. So going into the city was easy because I like to say I just door knocked. I take that back because that has a totally different meaning now, right? But my version of that was I just picked up the phone and cold called. Like when I was 16, I was a telemarketer for the Metropolitan Opera House. If I was able to call rich folks and ask them to donate $10,000, $20,000, rich people do not like to give their money away, right? Unless there's a tax incentive for them. In that case, they will, right? And the Opera House provided that. So I guess it was a little bit easy. But that's what I did when I was 16. So I wasn't afraid of picking up the phone and talking to folks and, hey, this is what we do. This is how can we help? And then we got in the process, we learned how to get creative with that as well. And that opened the doors and being able to do apartment complexes, right? Because I called a few management companies, but that one management company owned 10 buildings, 10, 20, 30 properties. And the sales pitch was simple. Give me the worst property you have, right? Let me start with that one. And then you see what we got. And then that's how we grew a little bit. And then we got stuck a little bit within the New York City market. But deep down inside, I knew I always wanted to go to Westchester. I prefer to work smarter and try not to work harder. Doing apartment complexes is working harder, right? I mean, going up and downstairs, knocking on doors. You go into a place and it has 100 units, right? That's a lot. And then the pricing, it's not like I'm charging 100 home price. It's 100 units. It's a fraction of what it is, right? So it didn't make too much sense. But like, all right, once we got to a certain size and we have few staff members, it was like, all right, now we can start focusing some of our energy into the Westchester market where we come from, as at least where we got our start. And that transition started happening. Coincidentally for us, when we decided to do that, it was COVID. That's when COVID hit. You can look at that however you want. In some cases, it was terrible. But on the flip side, because it was for pest control, it was great, right? Because that was like a springboard to get into the residential market. Because now everybody's home and they weren't used to being home. And now they're seeing stuff that they didn't see before when they were at work. And they're making phone calls. And that's how we started growing our residential market.
Now, when you first raised your hand, you go to the state event or whatever and said, hey, I want to get in the driver's seat, like you describe it. I love that. Did you have any pushback? Was there any like, hey, kid, get out of here. We don't want to hear from you. Or were you able to kind of go right in towards leadership and people would listen to you? Did you have any troubles with that?
Andy wants the dirt. Jesus, fast.
Well, we don't do here, sir. We do what's right.
What was that, Bill?
We don't do easy conversations here. We're going to get.
No, that's fine. I mean, I'm open to it. Yes and no, Andy, to answer your question, right? There were parts that were easy. At the beginning, they were easy because people look at you as unassuming, right? And then once you start picking up traction and once they start noticing you, then that's when some pushback came in, right? But I actually got the pushback when I got to national more than not in New York. In New York, I didn't get any pushback, honestly. All right. When I got to national, I got pushback. I have a few stories there that were rough, but then I used that and it kind of changed my whole trajectory in the national. We could get into that afterwards. But I think to answer your question, I didn't get real pushback in New York. I actually felt like this industry, everybody's very accommodating. Everybody's willing to help. And if they see that you want to work, people are like, oh, you want to work? I mean, think about it. We're talking about the association. You don't get paid for this. You don't do anything. You want to work for free? Here you go. Here's the workload. Andy, you should know that, right? Like Andy's coming into a place now, and I'll say this because Andy's recording this, so I got to give him his flowers as well, right? Andy's now, and you and your wife both are doing a phenomenal job when it comes to the association. So one of the things when I was in New York with the association, it seemed like New York pest management was New York City for the most part. Right. Bill was one of the first ones from upstate that came around, and Bill tried, right? But it wasn't easy for Bill at the time, right? Andy, now you've come along and you've dragged Bill back, and that's why he's here. But you and your wife have been doing a phenomenal job trying to make sure that this happens. New York is not just a city. Even though we have the most people, it isn't just this. It's a huge state, and you guys are doing that. So kudos to you, bro.
Thank you.
Well, Bill for tagging along. Now that you did all the work, Andy, Bill's tagging along. Like, yeah, I'm from upstate. I get it.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, I couldn't echo what you said more. Like, just I tried for years and got nowhere. And what he and his wife Holly have been able to do is just absolutely remarkable.
Well, thank you guys.
First 2-day seminar upstate this year, combining leadership and technical and splitting that out into a really, really amazing event. It's just, he's done a great job.
It's embarrassing. Thanks, guys, though.
Blush a little. Come on.
Yeah. And
I'm blushing, but you can't tell because I have too much melatonin in my skin.
Fortunately, I do the editing, so we can pull all this right out.
Oh, that sucks.
That's okay.
We'll
now, Yeah, you're gonna call the boss, right? Uh, as you move through the state and into national, did the demands on you change? Did it get more demanding, or is it about the same throughout that whole process?
No, I think national becomes way more demanding, just because of the added travel component, right? In New York, especially when I was in New York, like we just established here, much wasn't happening in upstate, so my travel was very small. I mean, I could drive anywhere, right? And even then, and Bill could attest to this, right? We try to do things upstate. Like I got stuck in a storm up there in Albany. Bill, were you there that time?
Yeah, that was you, Jim Skinner, and Len.
Yeah, exactly. So we had those moments. Didn't you guys drive down from like Buffalo or something like that
Yeah.
at one point? Yeah. So that was one storm, the snowstorm in like Buffalo. And then there was another, so I went to something in Albany, and it was a crazy rainstorm. A whole bunch of power was lost everywhere. I almost ran out of gas on the side of the road. So there's some stories. That's why I don't go up there. Now you guys understand what's going on.
We got to tell him when he comes up here, the gas stations are every 12 feet apart. You got to think about getting gas.
Yeah. Well, now it's different because now I drive an electric vehicle, so I can't really drive up there now because driving electric vehicles, I don't have the range.
Now, have you noticed, is there a scale component to involvement? So do you find that there's more larger companies that have to scale to a certain size before they're, going to be able to commit to that sort of, I guess, demand for, what national might need, versus if you're smaller, can you get involved with the state association as a starter while you're, a littler company?
I think that to answer that question, right? And I guess I can answer it different ways. I mean, I can answer it as a company owner, or I can answer it as somebody that's done many things for either the state association, and obviously I'm in the trajectory to become the president of the national association in a few years. So I can answer that question in different ways. But I think at overarching, right, there is something at any level. There is benefits at right from the beginning, getting involved, at least just knowing that you can evolve. There are resources that you can use, that you can pull immediately from national, right? And I say from national because New York is a joint association, so you immediately become national as well. So there are benefits that you could pull from there, but the biggest benefit comes from the village, right? It comes from the people, from the relationships. Now, two things: if you're afraid, if you're an introvert, right, as they say, right, well, that's going to help you because you're not going to talk to anybody anyway. So if you show up places, all you got to do is show up. Someone's going to talk to you, right? So then that helps you in that capacity. But if you are an extrovert, then show up anyway and start the conversation with everybody, and that's going to help you in the way of you getting answers to the questions you might have came in with. So yes, there is benefits to starting out right from the beginning. Now, the time commitment side of it is the hard part, right? And that's where it changes for everybody. I think it ebbs and flows as you grow the company. There are going to be moments where you're going to be a little bit more involved, and then there are going to be moments that you're going to pull back and focus on your business, and that's okay. There's no book on how to do this. And then once you get to a place where it's like, all right, I hired, when you're a one-man show and you're selling it, servicing it, billing it, collecting on it, it's really hard, right? At the end of the day, you're trying to put food on the table. So I get that. But once you get one employee, a second, it starts becoming a little bit easier. But there are benefits that you could pull from even when it's just a one-man show, there are benefits you could get from it. And one of the things that happens is that once you start getting involved and you start doing it and you start seeing others do it, you start asking questions. How do you do it? How do you have time for this? And they start kind of sharing those nuggets and how they built out to be able to have the time to participate and to contribute and to receive as well.
Yeah. So, Andy, that really gets me thinking about, New York State Pest Management Association and as a whole. There's people that probably don't want to, they want to get involved, but don't want the time commitment of being on the board of directors. But that makes me think about just committees where it's an hour a month, but it's a great bridge to getting yourself more involved in the association before jumping in with both feet?
Yeah.
Almost like water. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that's exactly how you do it. That's how you're supposed to do it. I think the problem is that people don't even know that that's the way you're supposed to do it, or that that's an option. They think they have to go in and be part of the board and be a board of director. And then they get stuck on, well, how do I even get elected on the board? How do I get on the ballot? And the first thing you need to do is show up. Just show up to the meetings. You want to get involved, show up to the meetings. It's great. You learn, right? And you're getting involved. And then once you show up to the meeting, then you go to a committee. If you register, you can walk into any committee meeting. The doors are open, and you'll be fascinated by what you learn from the conversations within the committee. And then after that, the relationships you develop while being in the committee. Because one of the things, and I'll bring this back to me and my dressing and all that. So one of the things I've learned from that, and I say it because I try to teach my kids this, right? That was kind of like my brand, right? It got to the point where if I did not show up, dress a certain way, I tried that. So Andy, you laugh, but I tried that. There was a time where I was like, I'm gonna take a step back. And that got more attention. Because now people are worried. What's going on with you? Are you okay? Why are you not in a 3-piece suit? I don't wear a 3-piece suit, but you know what I mean? Why are you not in a suit, right? Why don't you have a tie on? And I was like, I'm getting a little bit looser. I'm getting comfortable. I'm getting, and that's all it was. But for me, what's the word I'm looking for? It created a sense of respect. People immediately are like, wait, who is this person? Right? Especially in our industry, we may get looked at as dirty job, or, the bottom of the bottom job, right? You're dealing with the rats and the roaches, right? And then you come dressed a certain way, you speak a certain way, you write a certain way. People don't expect that. And once you shock them, that second of shocking them gives you time to then talk and express who you are, what you're about. You capture their attention with that. And that's what it's been for me initially. It was like, hey, I commanded some level of respect just because of the way I dressed. But all that did for me was be able to get the door open. I had to do the rest of the work. So the way I spoke, the work I put in, the time that you put in, if you want to make an impact in the industry, right? And that's what my goal was to do, right? Then you have to put in the time, you have to put in the work, you have to get involved.
I definitely have to say you've made an impact, because I don't know if you knew this, but on around Pest World this past year, people post a lot of pictures of themselves at Pest World. And Holly and I had been counting the number of photo bombs that we saw in the background, this very well-dressed man from New York in the background of tons and tons of pictures. It seemed like every Pest World picture we see, there you were in the background, not as part of the picture, just there.
Oh, so, not in front of the picture. Okay, great. No, so it's not like I was doing one of those like, hey, I'm here. No, okay, good.
Just happened to be there. We started looking at the background of every picture. We're like, is he at everything? It was hilarious.
Maybe it's just the stock model fit.
That's what it was.
It's like, we'll put him in as a stock model.
He puts everywhere, because it's the only way this dude could do everything he does.
There's a cardboard cutout or something.
Yeah, with a little voice recording. I got it. We figured
I like that. I may have to do that.
Oh my gosh. So now, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Bill. Yeah,
it's all you.
No, I was just going to say, you're looking at NPMA president in a few years. You're on the track for that. What's the future hold for you? What's the long range for you?
I guess it's different things. One of the things I've always said for me, right? I didn't have a guide, right? When I wanted to do this. And I started by saying, a lot of people in this industry come from famine, right? My father was in it, my grandfather was in it, my great grandmother was in it, right? Like, and that comes from that. I don't have that, right? And then the next thing I said was people, minorities, either people of color, Black, Spanish, Asian, any of the minority groups, right? They don't have that access, right? So what I want to do after that is create that. where can I place myself where I can create more access for more people to either get involved, but more importantly, to grow, right? They could grow their business, because when they grow their business, right, then they hire more people. And what tends to happen is that you tend to hire the people you know, the people you feel comfortable with. And you can see that. I mean, in New York City is a phenomenal example of that, right? Because New York City has so many pockets of like unique neighborhoods, right? There's the Chinese neighborhood, there's the Russian neighborhood, there's the Puerto Rican neighborhood, there's the Black neighborhood, there's the LGBT neighborhood down in so you have these pockets, and you start seeing that the companies that originate from those areas, from whatever said neighborhood, they tend to hire their own people. So that's my plan in the future, to be able to create a path, something where people can say, look, if that guy did it, I can do it, and then just follow along, right? And the line I like to use and say is, there's no path now, right? But like all the highways in the street that we have now, hundreds of years ago, they didn't exist. So people walked on them. Then people rode their horse on them. Then the horse pulled the carriage, right? And that's what created the streets that we have it. And those then turned into the highways. And that's all I'm doing right now, is walking this path. And I'm hoping that as I walk this path, other people start walking behind me, and they bring in their carriages and their horses, and then it creates a path, a street, a road, a highway for other folks that come from urban environments, divorced parents, low income, right? To say, I'm striving to get the American dream, right? I'm going to go build a company, right? I'm going to go start a company and do something and inspire those behind me, right? But also open doors for my family, right? For my kids and for my cousins and for the people that are next to me. So that's all I want. So
that's awesome. It reminds me of one of the things that I say as we're recruiting technicians and stuff, is that we're always looking for underestimated people. I think our whole industry thrives on finding those underestimated diamonds that you can polish them up and give them opportunity. So I interrupted you, Bill. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just want to respect Joel's time. I mean, this has been absolutely amazing. I couldn't tell you how proud I am to call you a friend.
Thank you. Likewise.
Inspirational, and I just can't wait to continue to watch your journey. And I just hope, Mr. President, one day when you get there, you still remember us little folks up in New York.
Oh, I'll make sure that when I get up there, because I have that's the one thing that's like weighing on me. Is like, wait, I have to create a speech. What am I going to say? Right? Thank God I have years to plan for it. But Bill, I'll make sure I throw you in there. For sure, for certain.
By throw you in there, he means under the bus, Bill. Just so you know.
No. As long as
Bill rides right next to me. So enough of that.
Awesome, Joel. Thank you so much for coming in.
You're doing amazing things, and it's just awesome watching you.
Thank you. And the reason why it's easy for me to share some of my story and some of my goals is because I think that if I share my goal and what I want, I know it's not a selfish goal, right? So if I share it, hopefully other folks can come along and join in it, and then we can actually make it happen. I mean, one of the priorities that I have for myself right now is, well, NPMA has like a scholarship fund, right? An endowed scholarship fund. And I'm looking to be one of the folks that does that, right? With the intent of serving the purpose that I just laid out. Like, all right, let's put money into this college fund, right? Let's create this college fund to be able to fund the education of somebody that may come from an inner city, that may come from, low income, that may come from a broken family, from all those marginalized kind of situations that would otherwise say you are meant to fail, but we turn it around and make, you guys said diamonds in the rough earlier. So we make that, right? We make diamonds out of that stuff. So
it's amazing that we're all in a spot where we can use the platform that was given to us in pest control to do so much good in the world. It's so much more than just bugs.
I agree.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure.
All right. That was an awesome conversation. I was a little disappointed that he didn't have a suit on, but we get what we get. So we got Joel in a polo, but still a great conversation.
Yeah, I agree. So anybody that has interest in joining a committee or getting involved with the board of directors in New York State, head over to the website. There's a lot of information there. Feel free to reach out to Andy or I as well. And we would love to get you on a committee and work alongside you guys.
Awesome.
Until next time.